And so just before we get into it, like I was telling Kelly, we'll have a live demo. I'm going to make my camera the presentation on my phone so you can see what I'm doing. And we'll have some time to draw. And then we'll have some oven time and see what comes out. We'll see if it works out for me right or not. One thing to keep in mind, each oven, it's usually 1 to 3 minutes. Each oven is a little different. So with your individual oven, you might have to play with it. But Shrinky Dicks are pretty forgiving. So if you can sometimes just put in another minute and then it'll be fine if it's curly. So first I'll just mention a few things about why shrink art. Why are we bringing it back from the 70s and our childhood? Well, it seems like if you look on the internet, there is a lot of stuff on it now. If you have in your package some lovely links on the nice sheet, the shrink art jewelry sheet that if you let me put that link in the chat that Cindy made. So it includes books and it also includes websites. So it's gotten to be a popular thing with adults and kids. And I think there's a few reasons. It's quick. Takes a little less time than say crochet. You just have drawing, cutting, putting in the oven for a few minutes, and then adding jewelry or whatever connectors that you want to add. Because of the tracing, you can make a lot. If you want to make like presents for everybody, it's pretty fast because you can do zoop, zoop, zoop. Just copy from a base design. You don't need a lot of special tools. So if you decide to do this later at home, obviously scissors is the only thing we didn't have in the kit. But yeah, basically just requires scissors and a hole punch of some sort, an oven, and your permanent markers. No water-based things will not work for Slinky Dinks. It's got to be permanent oil-based. And Sydney found out that you can use, if you have any number 6 plastic laying around, you can even use that rather than purchasing the sheets. There's not a lot of specialized skills. I mean, we're going to talk about a little bit of jewelry skills, but it's nothing very advanced. So it's just, if you don't draw it freehand, it's just tracing, cutting, and whatever jewelry you decide to make. Keep in mind when you do your design, and that's why we have, some sample designs, but you don't have to use them, but they're fairly simple because you have to keep in mind that they're going to get smaller. So if you have a lot of details, details could get lost when it shrinks. So you want to keep it kind of simple. Okay, so I'm going to go over and start presenting and talking what we have in the kits here. And I'm going to get a drink of iced tea. I'll be right back.
Yes, and if you're gonna trace your design, it's helpful if you have some tape. You can tape the plastic sheet to the image that you're tracing, and then it won't shift as much.
Okay, can you guys see the table with supplies?
Not yet.
Nope.
Okay, let me try that again. Oh, I didn't push start. That would be why. So you can see it now?
Yep.
Okay, good. So we got your hole punch. Make a hole. First we have your sheets. This is E6000 craft glue. It is very powerful craft glue. Just give you a little bit. You can, if you have leftovers, you can use it later, but just keep in mind it glues, because it's so powerful, it glues to itself very easily. So, but it'll stick anything to anything, so it's really handy. You have some jewelry wire. And then in the some more little jewelry supplies in the little polka dot container bag. Oh, these are split rings for keychains. These are pin backs. And this is a little chain that you could put keychains or charms on. Earring hooks. These are jump rings for earrings or charms. And finally, little lobster clasps. So you can use those to hook charms, or you could put it on a bag or a backpack to hook it on a zipper as a zipper pull. So you have a lot of options. So I'm just going to put the jewelry stuff back right now, and then we'll get started on doing some drawing. To give you guys time to work on your drawings. Had a little accident there. And then we'll show putting it in the oven, and then we will go through the different jewelry. 28 gauge wire, I believe. It's pretty thin. I find for fastening jewelry, a thin wire works best, 24 to 28 gauge. And you can do a lot of things with wire, fixing things, like affixing things to other things. So I always have plenty of jewelry wire at home. You can use it for your mask, make a nose guard, a wire for your mask. I think I'm going to do a Bats Maroon because he's my favorite. A little penguin here. He's sort of Hello Kitty's arch enemy / friend, kind of a frenemy. Some Pokemon, we have some nature, some Among Us. That's that hot video game all the kids are playing. You get the squeaky sort of sound. Here's my Bats Maroon. Maybe I'll do an Among Us guy too. I haven't played the game myself, but the figures are so cute I might have to play just because I like the way they look. And an old school gamer, Tetris is about my speed.
Same. Tetris is like the only game I can play. Oh, and Dr. Mario.
Yeah, so after that I play the Plants vs. Zombies is another game I like. If it looks like a cartoon, I like it. If it looks too realistic, it creeps me out. So how's everyone going with their drawing? Ooh, I also like Totoro. He's one of my favorites. That's one movie, My Neighbor Totoro. You can like recommend it to just about every person in the world and they'll probably like it. Got a little smudgy. I'm left-handed, so sometimes I have to remember not to smudge things. If you ever decide you get really into Shrinky Dinks or other kind of shrink art, there are also inkjet shrinker sheets that you can put in an inkjet printer. And of course, the nice thing about that is then you don't have to trace it all. And it's easier to get both sides. Like if you wanted something that has a design on both sides, it's easier. But they are a lot pricier. I think that came out pretty good. Here, I'll put on a plain piece of paper so you can see what they look like more. And then whenever you're ready, you can start cutting with the scissors. Sometimes I like to cut a broad swath around it and then get into the details more. Sometimes rounded things can be a little tricky. I think I'm just going to leave it with the leaf connected to everything else. Personally, the nice thing about that is this is very easy. If you have a niece or nephew or someone who really likes some sort of pop culture, you could just find a pattern for anything. You find some art online and trace it. But then it's still unique to you. usually if I have a failure with the Shrinky Dink, it's usually because I cut into it too much. Which, I mean, if you cut into it a little, probably people won't notice, but I'm kind of picky about it. So if I accidentally cut in too far, I usually, trash it. Oh, I lost his little arm. He's gonna have to be a one-armed Batsmer this time. And sometimes I get to cutting a little too far. And I just, take a look, make sure there aren't any little parts left over that I want to clip. Doesn't have to be perfect, but get as many as we can of those little odd corners. That's a good starting point. Got 3 different ones. And of course, this very high-tech option of a hole punch to get those holes for jewelry, keychains, whatever. Just make sure it's somewhere that isn't, you won't be unhappy with the design and that you have enough space. You want to remember again that it's shrinking when you make the hole. You don't want it too close to the edge. Okay, how's everybody doing? Any questions?
Furiously coloring in.
If you want to show us your designs whenever you're ready, feel free if you want to. Ooh, I like the Celtic knot one. That would make a good pendant. And the butterfly one too.
Yeah, I'm just experimenting for now. I did 2. I haven't cut them out yet, but I did the Mondrian painting and then the Totoro.
Yes, very nice. Yeah, I remember I had one of my exciting craft moments with the shrink art actually. So I sent it with a bunch of people for COVID care packages. I sent them a bunch of keychains, shrink art keychains, and someone posted theirs on Facebook, and a lady asked where she could buy them. So that made me very excited. Maybe when I retire, maybe I'll sell stuff on Etsy, but right now I don't want to, I'd rather just put the work in to the library rather than selling stuff. Also, if I sell stuff, I get more perfectionist than if I'm just making it for a friend, they can handle a few errors. So. I wouldn't want to be like where I'm tired of it, where it's not fun anymore. It's just work. Yep. And just as a librarian, I have to remind you, if you do, feel free to sell these on Etsy if you really like your stuff. But just remember to make sure any art you use is copyright free. So if you go to Google Images and search clip art, and you can do an advanced search to limit it to images that are not copyrighted. Because using a drawing, Totoro, and sometimes if there's enough uniqueness to a drawing of some commercial object, like it may be okay, but I can't legally speak on it right now. And whenever people are ready, I'll start to toaster oven it.
I have a question, Andrea.
Yeah.
You were saying use parchment paper or aluminum foil. I have a silicone pan, so do I really need anything?
With the silicone pan, it should be fine. The one advantage of the parchment paper or having something, some sort of paper, is that if you do need to flatten it, you can flatten with the same piece of paper. I mean, you could, use something else to flatten it, like an oven mitt or something, or you can use a spatula as well to flatten it if it to make sure it doesn't curl up. But it's just kind of handy with the paper. The paper can protect it if there's like any food in your toaster oven. I don't clean my toaster oven as well as I probably should, but though I do put new aluminum foil whenever I cook something, so it's not that gross. Don't worry. But yeah, the paper is just handy because you can use it to lift up, take your design out of there, and you can use it to cool it and flatten it at the same time, but it's not mandatory. You can just put in the oven with aluminum foil or just on your pan, whatever pan you have. Just you'll have to work out something to remove it because it is still hot when it comes out of the oven, and to flatten it if need be.
Oh yes, now's a good time to preheat your oven if you need to do
that. Yeah. If you need to preheat your oven, do that. I just have a toaster oven, so it doesn't need to be preheated. And as I said, I know that generally mine it's a minute and a half. That is usually a good time. So yours may vary.
And
from 1 to 3 minutes.
if we're making something out of this and we need a hole, we should do the hole now. Is that right?
Yep. So do your hole with the hole punch. And as I said, make sure it's not too close to the top because it will shrink. So you want a little bit of space, maybe like a 1/4 inch or so, and that it's somewhere where it'll work for you for the design. You start putting them on the paper. Just having something that can be flat, that's easy to draw because you're drawing on a bigger space and make it smaller. So, and it just gives you a lot of different options as far as using it for stuff. Okay, I think I'm gonna put them in the oven. And you could put multiple things at a time. Though I probably want them to not be quite touching. A little space between them. Okay, so now they're cooking. Kind of fun to watch them. Sometimes they're curling up. No, it's too much, but they will curl up if you watch it, so don't freak out. Oh yeah, and I recommend watching that video that's with the link I just shared that Cindy made, the list of resources. There's some 10-year-old twins who are really cute who show you how to make shrink art. There's another link that has 40 different ideas, so that will give you a lot. Snow globes, ring dishes, and okay, let's see what we got here. Oh, it looks like they turned out pretty good. They didn't need to be, they don't seem to need to be flattened too much. Just gonna press them a little bit. But just make sure you don't touch them directly because they're gonna be hot. I really like they just sort of, the colors get more intense, which is a cool effect. They just seem sort of very glass-like and intense once they've been shrunk, which is a really nice effect. In fact, when you do the inkjet ones, you have to reduce the color. You have to fade the color a little bit or else they get too bright. There's my little Among Us guy. How's everybody doing? It's getting a little dark, so.
Just
hopefully
about
that'll
to
make
take
it
mine
easier
out
to
of the
see.
oven.
Mhm. Yep. And we don't touch it with the bare hands. And if it's curly, you can just flatten it with something between you and it. I'll start getting ready the supplies for jewelry. Now, if you really get into jewelry, it's always nice to have jewelry pliers, but for what we're doing, it won't be necessary just because they're a little pricey, so we didn't put any in the kit, but these are sort of light jump rings that you can just open with your hands. So. And I have a task light here that I just brought over. That's why you can see it better. A task light, if you're old like me, really helps with seeing the details, I find. I know. Notice lately enamel pins have been in lately, and you could probably pass for enamel. Really, it looks a little like it, really, and it's a lot easier to make. Like I said, if you want to share any of your designs, feel free. The E6000, it will need to be opened with little scissors or
Yeah,
a pen.
mine curled up and into a little bowl.
Well, you could try putting it back in for a minute. Sometimes that'll do it. Well, sometimes you just need to adjust your try different times. So yeah, usually another 1 minute 325 will soften it up enough again to flatten it out. Yeah. In addition to what we have here, of course, you could add a chain if you wanted to do a necklace. You just need a chain. You could do lobster clasps and jump rings, lobster clasps and jump rings for the fasteners, or a charm bracelet too. You could be a woven charm bracelet or twine or some cord of some sort. Any sort of thing like that will work with these as well. And you can use just the jewelry wire too, instead of jump rings as well.
Hi, this is Carrie. I had a quick question.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I had to run downstairs to my oven. But I'm back now, so maybe you already talked about this. But I think I baked this guy a little too long, and he's a little curly now. Is there?
So yeah, I was. Yeah, I was just telling Dan, sometimes if you put it in again for 1 minute, it'll soften up again, and then you can salvage it.
Okay,
Yeah. So I would give that a try.
thanks.
Any other questions?
No, but I did learn that it's not very forgiving when you're trying to cut it.
That is a good point. If you do, like, I lost one of Basper's arms. We're just gonna pretend he has that behind his shoulder here.
Yeah.
Once you cut into something you're not meant to cut into, you really can't fix it, unfortunately. That is the one drawback of and because they're permanent markers, you can't also remark it too much. Sometimes if it's really new, you might be able to like put a new color in really fast while it's still drying. But but luckily Shrinky Dinks are pretty cheap. They're not too expensive, so usually if I make a batch, I expect. Oh, let's see, Dan. Oh, very nice. Celtic
But
knot.
not very flat.
Not quite flat, but it's still pretty.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's the one I did too. Here's mine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if I could color it afterwards.
Yeah, you probably could color it in more if you wanted to.
Can you put something on the top to, like, I don't know, seal the color in or something? If you're gonna wear it as like a pendant?
Well, since it uses permanent markers, it's generally pretty set. Because the
once it's
markers are
baked.
permanent. Yeah, and it's been baked in. So usually you don't have to do any sort of like extra coat, like a laminating or spraying fixative on it. And that's another
Okay.
nice thing because most people don't have a way to laminate things, and also spray fixative. I've used it for things, and it smells up the room and you have to ventilate and stuff. So that's another nice thing about the shrink art. It's done. You don't have to, it's permanent, it's been baked in, so you don't have to do additional things to protect it. So
Okay.
that's also a nice thing about them. But that's a really
Okay.
good point, because if people haven't used shrink art, you wouldn't know that. So why don't I just start? I'm gonna start doing some jewelry techniques. So with the jump rings, with thin ones like that, you can just open them with your hand. Basically, you find out where there's the opening. You hold it so that one of your fingers is going left and one of your hands is going right, and just open it like that. And then you can put it in the hole and close it up again. So that's pretty easy. Like I said, if you're using bigger jump rings, you might need jewelry pliers, but since these are little and thin, we can just use our hands. And then you can just put in, like, here's a little chain to make a keychain with. And you just take your split ring keychain, and then you put this in. There's a little hole here. You just push it into the hole, and then this clasp is clasped to itself. So that's real easy. So then you have a lovely keychain right there without much work. The same with earrings. So you can just take the jump ring, open it up, put it in the hole, and then the earring hook is going to have that little hole there. Just put it through there, clasp it back up. And you got an earring. And the other handy thing is, since you made it yourself, if it ever breaks, you know how to fix it. I'm losing and breaking earrings all the time. I'm really hard on my jewelry, so it helps to know some techniques. So if it breaks, I can fix it. And of course, like I said, the shrink art sheets are cheap. So if you need it, like if you lost one earring, it's pretty easy to capture it. And then if you wanted to make a pin, so these pins, they have the front and the back of the pin. So you would just glue it on top. You could do hot glue, but E6000 is just really easy. You don't have to deal with the hot glue. And just stick it on there. You want to let it dry overnight to make sure it's all dry. But the E6000 is nice and clear, so you don't have to worry about any like ugly gray, like yellowing, because it's all nice and clear. And then you have a nice pin. Almost looks like it's a fancy enamel pin, but it's just the shrinky dink stuff. And like I said, if you didn't want to use the jump ring, or say you wanted to do the earrings with like a bead in the center, we don't include beads, but if you had a bead, you could just wrap it with the wire instead. And then I usually just cut off a couple inches, stick it through the hole, like get it about halfway, and then twist it around a couple times. Close it up with my finger. And put both ends through here. And this is where you could put a bead if you wanted. And then just wrap it like that. So that's another way to do it. You said it's also good, like if you have a bead or something that you wanted to put in between it as well. And then just cut off the ends. Like I make a lot of earrings, and I don't buy, they sell like pins with the ends already made. And I just use wire because it's cheaper and easier, and I make my own ends. So that's another way to do it. Just want to give you options and show you that technique. And just close it up a little with your hand so it's not sticking out. Well, that shows you some of the main options, and you could also like put the wire in with this lobster clasp and connect it that way. Loop it around a couple times. Yeah, you could use acrylic paint. It might not stay as well because it's acrylic, but you could use it afterwards if you wanted to touch it up. You could also probably use alcohol-based paint. I don't know how much you want to get into that, but they sell this alcohol ink these alcohol inks, which kind of have a nice vivid color, but that could be a whole other class. And it has been. We've done alcohol ink painting. That's a fun one. Maybe we'll do that again. But it's a little more cleanup because you need, it's hard to do a kit because you need mineral spirits, which can get kind of messy. So that's the drawback of it in a kit form. But maybe when we go in person, we can do alcohol inks again. Okay. So any questions about jewelry techniques? So, I mean, you could have your Christmas presents, your presents for the year right here, you know. Boom, 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 do a bunch, and there you go. Everyone needs a keychain, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can just imagine they give you something really nice and you give them the shrinky dink.
Come on, it's something you made. And well, my parents are thankfully still alive, and as parents, they're legally required to like something I made myself. So
As parents, that works out, but I'm sure your kids will not accept anything that you did as an artistic endeavor other than to say, oh, let me sign you up to that senior housing now. Craft work you can
I
do.
don't know. I don't think your art's that bad, Dan. I think you're pretty talented. You're selling yourself short there.
These are mine.
Whatever the person likes. Oh, let's see.
See, you did the butterfly and
Oh, pretty. Very pretty.
oh, the girl.
And little girl. Nice.
Yeah, the butterfly turned out really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up doing the Totoro and then the Mondrian. I thought they turned out pretty good. I think with the painting, I'm gonna glue white fabric to it and then put a pin backing on it.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You could, like mine is kind of, the color is hiding the pin, but yeah, you could put a backing if you didn't want someone to see the pin.
Oh, wait, I
You
didn't have my
probably
camera on.
even-
Let's see. There we go.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, the painting is like
Yeah.
see-through where it's white, so that's why I was like, oh, maybe I'll glue the white fabric to it and then do the pin backing.
I can only
Yeah.
see Andrea's workspace. I don't see anything else.
Okay, I'm gonna get out of the workspace so we can share everybody's art.
Alexa, set alarm for 2 minutes.
So I have a question, Andrea. Ours are all kind of in bowls. Do we just keep baking them till they're no longer that? I've tried flattening them out and they're not flattening.
Okay, well, you might have to do another one with a shorter. How many minutes did you do?
We started off with 2 minutes and we're at 3 minutes now and they still are just kind of in a bowl.
Okay.
Never went flat.
Hmm. It might be that.
Which ones did you do?
We just made some.
Oh,
If they're
fun.
bigger, that's when that's when I've had trouble with them curling up, is when they were bigger.
They were about the same size. I did a bird, but just not the same as the chickadee, but it was the same size. And we did the Mondrian, and like I made a rooster that was about the same size as the chickadee, and they're all kind of in a bowl shape.
Mhm. Well, yeah, you might have to start over again and try like at 1.5 minutes. Like
Okay.
maybe even do some test ones, like ones you don't care about.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah, I think
the
for
simple
mine, I did it in a toaster oven and it was about 1.5 minutes.
Mhm.
I thought that was too quick, but I was like, well, they're flat now, so I pulled them out and they look pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, you could also just, if you have a light in your oven, you can watch and see when they get flat.
Yep. So we put them in, and at a minute, they had not started even shrinking yet. So that's why we kept cooking them essentially.
Mhm.
Alexa, alarm off. Yeah, they don't shrink. And when they shrink, when mine shrinks, it goes into a bowl shape. So I pulled it out as soon as it started to curl up, but it doesn't shrink enough. I don't think.
How long were yours in for, Dan?
2 minutes.
Yeah, I'm wondering in your case, since they haven't shrunk yet, if they just need to go in for longer. Because they will like kind of like shrivel up and curl and then they'll flatten up again.
Yeah.
And like, yeah. And then when they flatten up again, that's when you want to pull them out.
Yep. That's what I did with the regular oven.
And let them flatten out.
Yep. So, yeah, so just thanks for coming, everybody. Just let you know we're working on May Tinker Tuesday. We should have that up this week sometime. So keep an eye out for that. We're gonna have a pretty fun one. And keep an eye on our calendar for more events. We've got a lot of Read
The
Brave
kitty.
events going on.
Oh, and bathroom. Oh,
Oh.
you got the color just right on that one.
Oh, yeah. See, that could be, you could buy it at the Sanrio store. That looks so good.
The cat came out kind of one-eyed because I colored too close to him.
Oh,
Very cute though.
Cute.
that's good.
These are
Anyone
the
else?
earrings. I did these earrings last week.
Oh, the little
Oh.
bird.
Those are
It's a
cute.
little,
Those are really cute.
Oh.
and the bird kind of didn't, his colors didn't really come out. He kind of got
Oh,
stuck.
yeah.
He got stuck to the paper.
Anyone else want to share? Thank you.
Yeah, you can also always email us your creations.
Yeah, please do.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
if they're not quite ready.
Your lines are really straight.
Yeah. Definitely. Oh, let's see, Carrie's. The cat. Oh, yep.
Oh, you fuck a cow.
Tokidoki.
Yeah.
Tokidoki. Very nice. That came out really good.
I didn't
Is
do
it
very
eating? Is
well
it eating?
cutting, but yeah, the color turned out way better than I thought it would.
Oh, yeah. It's really vivid.
Oh, cute. Now I saw it. There's a lot of lag, I think.
Yeah, there's a little lag. So, oh, and if you're getting into, if this makes you want to do more jewelry, we also have a jewelry kit that you can check out at the library. The link for the kits. And I'm also going to send you a video that I made. It's not the greatest video, but it shows my my wire wrapping technique if you want to try that some more. I have a video on it, so
Dan.
I'll send you guys.
So I made the rolls.
Dan, nice.
It flattened out.
Good.
Well,
Flattened.
what I did is I let it curl up and then I flipped it over and heated it for some more. And then when it started to curl the other way, I quick pulled it out and smashed it. But it's definitely a little bowl shaped.
Yeah, sometimes if it's a little bowl shaped and you do it when it's really hot, you can smash it down flatter.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do it really fast though before it cools.
Right.
Yeah.
Does
So
this work in the
we have. It would not work in the microwave. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure microwaves are completely different, and probably something bad would happen. It's a completely different technology. So don't do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming. We got some feedback link if you want to give us your ideas for more classes. And I'll send you the recording of this and some other links and stuff for you tomorrow. And thanks everybody for coming. I really appreciate it. And thanks for Cindy made these lovely handouts and she organized the kits. So thank you, Cindy, for that.
Yeah, the kits were amazing.
Yeah.
Really nice. Yeah, thank you so much.
Good. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everybody.
I'm just
Thank
gonna
you.
keep
Any
making
other
them.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
we
you
always
so
want to see what you're
much.
making.
Bye.
Thanks so much.
Yeah,
Bye.
have a good night, everyone.
You too.
Thanks for coming. Good night.